Tottenham Hotspur 4, Manchester City 0. Not 1, not 2, not 3. They did even better than they did at Old Trafford, so thank you for that. 4 goals. Tottenham, I tell you what, whenever they come to Manchester this season, they seem to just put in these 10 out of 10 performances. Now, we don't need to talk about what happened at Old Trafford. That's forgotten about. Ten Hag, it's gone. Let's act like that never happened. Let's talk about today's game. 4-0. Now, I can't lie. You know what? I think everybody was enjoying that game. Anybody that was not a Manchester City fan, I think was enjoying that game. The downfall of Manchester City, 5 losses in a row, and then they lose 4-0 to Tottenham, where Tottenham destroy them. Fantastic stuff. And Tottenham were incredible. We're going to talk about Kulusevski, we're going to talk about Maddison, but I think people like Ben Davies had a really good game. Dragusin stepped up well. No Mickey van der Ven, no Romero. The whole of Tottenham outplayed Manchester City. Yes, City had a few shots towards the end and Tottenham would sit back as they did. But it was a dominant display from Tottenham, who now have 27 goals. No team in the league has more goals than Tottenham this season. And there's been a lot of Ange in, Ange out, people online, all of that. But I'm a Man United fan. And I've been very positive about Tottenham. If you watch my Tottenham content, you know I've been very positive about Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou because I try and tell Tottenham fans, obviously you're allowed to have your own opinion on Ange, that's your club, but I just say it's a process. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect in his second season. When Ange ball is so different to Conte, Nuno, Mourinho, who you've had before, it's, and you finally got a manager that is focusing on attacking football, but he's then had all these injuries, Romero, Van der Ven. If you look at Tottenham's bench, they can't realistically compete with City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, because look at the bench compared to City, Liverpool, and Arsenal's bench. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there should be an expectation that Tottenham have got to win every game and be in the top 3. I think Tottenham can easily finish in the top 4 this season, or top 5, because that gets in the Champions League. They score the most goals this season. I think on the eye, they're one of the best teams to watch with exciting football. They've got young players. They've got a raw squad. They've got young players. They've got a lot of injuries. Yes, they lose to Ipswich. Yes, they lose to Crystal Palace. They're the most weird team ever. Beat City twice, batter Villa, lose those games. But I've been saying this as a Man United fan. I feel like there's a really good project going on with Ange. And I think Ange out, I think, has been a bit reactionary this season. When Tottenham have won the majority of the games, yes, you shouldn't lose to Ipswich and you shouldn't lose to so-and-so, but it happens. Pep Guardiola won the treble, 4 titles in a row. He's lost 5 in a row. Not everything is perfect with the injuries, with the fact that this is only his second season. If I'm a Tottenham fan this season, I'm not looking for everything to be amazing and to win every game. I'm looking for progress. Are we playing a better style of football? Are we scoring more goals? You're seeing that at Tottenham. They had this crazy first 10 games under Ange in the Premier League. It was a bit hit and miss. But if you compare Tottenham, from January to May, and then you compare Tottenham from August to now, they play better football. There's progress going on. Ange is building something. It's young. It's raw. He's going to need maybe Murillo from Nottingham Forest for some centre-back cover. I don't know who you're going to bring in at the back. That was the first name that came to my mind. Maybe another winger, with Son obviously aging a bit, and Werner's probably going to go. Semenyo of Bournemouth's a good player. I don't know what Tottenham will do. They definitely don't have the squad depth. But I do think when you look at the players that Tottenham have, when you look at the football they play, they have a few blips here and there because it's not going to be perfect. Second season under Ange, I think they're in a good place. And I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about Kulusevski. I want to talk about Maddison. I thought Tottenham were fantastic. And I'm going to be honest, this is why Tottenham won. The legs in midfield. My biggest issue with Manchester United last season, before, but when we won Ten Hag wasn't sat, this is last season. I said, Ten Hag's not getting a lot of things right tactically, but I said with Man United, we lack the legs in midfield. Casemiro and Eriksen, they got rings around them. Maino was good, he was breath of fresh air, but Maino's known for what he does on the ball, so he needs someone who was brilliant off the ball, which is why I suggested, someone like Amadou Onana could be quite good at United to partner Maino off the ball, blah, blah, blah. Now, Man City's biggest problem was Gundogan's legs. Kulusevski, every time Gundogan had the ball, Kulusevski would catch up 15 yards on him every single time. Gundogan's legs. The legs in the Manchester City midfield, even some of the back line, like Kyle Walker, Rico Lewis is younger, but he got pushed off the ball a bit. That is what the difference was. Sarr and Bissouma, the legs, the energy, the everything. This is why I think Liverpool battered United at Old Trafford and Tottenham battered United at Old Trafford because our midfield, leg-wise, couldn't compete with Tottenham and Liverpool. It's the athleticism. Manchester City can have all the technical players they want, all the brilliant players they want, because technicality, aesthetics. And this is why everybody thinks Phil Foden is the most amazing player ever, because he's so technically good to watch. But I've said it before, Saka and Palmer I'd rather have than Phil Foden because of they can be versatile, they can adapt to different systems, different managers. It's not all about technicality. And I think there's such a technical bias in football. City and Arsenal, they've got so many technical players, it's so pretty. Athleticism in football can be more important than technicality. Now, technicality is what you want if you're a top team. You need it. Playing out from the back, Ange needs it. But athleticism is why I think Newcastle can beat Arsenal, can draw with Manchester City. On Newcastle, cause Tottenham problems. Newcastle on their day, they beat Forest 3-1, can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Newcastle can on their day. Because they've got these team of runners, people that work hard. And you can be as technical as you want, but sometimes just being faster, being stronger, being fitter works. And that's what I felt with Tottenham today. They dominated the game. The pressing was fantastic. Kulusevski, Solanke, unsung hero, the tracking back, the winning the second balls. It was an unmatched desire where Gundogan wasn't chasing it like Kulusevski was, like Sarr was, like Bissouma was. Tottenham Hotspur outworked and they outran Man City, and then in midfield they absolutely destroyed them and had the legs with Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulusevski. Solanke just works like a monster, and City couldn't cope with them in transitions because the minute Tottenham were through, City couldn't catch them. Kulusevski would run and run and run, and City couldn't stop him. You know, that is what it was. It was the work rate. It was the everything for Tottenham today. I thought, Maddison and Kulusevski were the standouts. They were fantastic. I think Bissouma was really good today. I think Ben Davies stepped up brilliantly. Thought Vicario made some fantastic saves. I think every single player at Tottenham Hotspur who played today should be incredibly proud of themselves. Every single one of them. I think, Dragusin has some issues on the ball playing out from the back. I thought he did really well. No Van de Ven, no Romero, who I think are Tottenham's most important players, particularly Van de Ven because his ability to defend large spaces and transitions. Big loss for Tottenham. But they looked so composed, they looked so confident, and they went to the Etihad and they won 4-0, and they went at City, because I think Pep signing a new contract, City surely won't lose 5 in a row. They did. And it's weird because obviously they lose to Ipswich, they lose to Palace. I didn't watch the Palace game, and the Ipswich game I was doing a watch along to Man United at the same time, so I wasn't fully focused on it. And it's like you can see the quality of Tottenham when they play City, when they play Aston Villa, and then it must be frustrating for Tottenham fans to then see them go to Ipswich and do that. Because when Tottenham are on it, they're so good. And it's the Tottenham, and they're the second year in their rebuild, but it is just consistency for them. Ange setup was perfect. Ange went with these sort of four midfielders. Sort of put Son, Solanke could be up top. He could do Kulu on the right, Son on the left, or he could have Son and Solanke up top and overload the midfield. And what he did do is he dominated the midfield. And he went for legs, he went for midfield. He knew what he needed to do. And I thought Tottenham were fantastic. I think they were really strong defensively, actually. Obviously, they invited on pressure at the end. But Spurs deserved that. And I think it was the energy, the confidence, and the determination from the players, which was fantastic. I thought they were absolutely brilliant and they should be proud of themselves. And I think they just need to do that in the smaller games. They need to almost act like they're playing not cup final, actually. Maybe that's not a good idea. They need to act like they're playing Manchester City every week. That's what they need to do, because when they're at it... Now, let's talk about Kulusevski. Dejan Kulusevski has been one of the top 3 players in the league this season. A joy to watch, physically and technically gifted with elite football IQ. His creativity, movement, and relentless work rate set him apart. Whether dribbling, covering ground, or linking play, he's consistently impactful. Watching him dominate duels, drive forward, and deliver the pre-assist for Porro's goal was sensational. The work he did to lay it on a plate for Maddison, fantastic. Ange's decision to move him centrally has been a game changer, unlocking even more of his brilliance, is what I tweeted on Kulusevski after the match. Because there's always been a good player there. I did a video in the summer about Tottenham's attack, how it's lacking, the wings are lacking, but I said Kulusevski's good, but I don't know if he's a winger in Ange's system. And I said that in the summer before Ange changed his role. Pre-season he was playing as a striker, thought he looked good. And I felt that he was good a little bit last season when Maddison got injured and he went centrally. And I think Kulusevski's not touched that. He doesn't have that pace and agility, but he's very good in the half spaces, creativity, strength. And I think Ange's got the best at Kulusevski in that role. We've spoken about it many times. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. His intelligence, his movements, his running, his desire, his everything. When you look at the goals, he was almost, even if he doesn't get a goal or assist, he's involved in it in some way or form. If you look at the dribbles, how he was catching Gundogan could not cope with him. City generally could not cope with him. And this was tweeted by Data MB on November 19th. So this was tweeted 4 days ago by Data MB. So it's, it's not even up-to-date stats. Well, it is up-to-date by this game. But look, Kulusevski versus Premier League midfielders. He's first for key passes and crosses across the whole of Europe. First for deep completions, first for progressive runs, first for accelerations, showing his ability to run. Like, what stands out to me about Kulusevski is not just his ability, is he can get the ball, he can dribble, he can carry, he can pass the ball, he can make a run. He can get the ball from deeper areas, get all the way up the pitch. It's his ability to cover ground while also being intelligent, able to play a good pass, retain the ball because he's physical, we can't be pushed off it, run from deep, the dribbles, the everything. He gets in the penalty area, he's got a lethal shot on him, he's got a good pass on him, he's got good movement, but it's like his all-round play, centrally influencing the game, getting a hold of the ball. If he loses the ball, he chases it back, he looks to win it back, and I think that's such a fantastic thing to have. His game numbers today was 6 out of 7 duels won, 5 touches in the opposition box, 4 out of 4 take-ons completed. He was fantastic. 4 times possession won, 3 chances created, 1 foul won, 1 assist. I think Maddison will probably get man of the match because he got the goals, but it was debatable between the two of them when you look at the work that Kulusevski put in terms of the work rate, the winning it back, the duels, the creation, the everything. He was a part of every goal in a weird way. So these are my notes on Kulusevski. I'm gonna read them out quick because I feel like we are like 11 minutes into the video and I haven't spoken about Solanke and Maddison and Sarr, who I want to talk about. But I thought Kulusevski was relentless today, running at players, dominating transitions, fantastic. The way he drove up the pitch, played the ball, switched to Solanke. Solanke played it to Porro, fantastic finish by Porro. That made it 3-0. But if you look at Kulusevski's involvement in that, also laid on a plate for Maddison as well. I think everything he did in the dribbling, the creativity, the movement was fantastic. He's got athleticism, he's got intelligence, he's got technical ability, he can retain the ball, he can dribble, he's good in tight spaces, he can unlock low blocks. There's a very, very good player there that can read the game well. And he's been influencing every game this season. Of course, he's not going to be 10 out of 10 every game, but you look at Old Trafford, you look at Etihad, you look at even the game against City and the Carabao that you guys won. He was fantastic in all of those games. Those big games, he's showing up. And I was speaking to a Spurs fan back in summer, and I said, I rate Kulusevski, he's good. And he said to me, nah, Kulusevski, the thing is, he's only good against the bottom teams, is what he said to me. Kulusevski's taken that personally because he's been fantastic against the top teams. The way he just embarrassed Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. If I was a City fan, I wouldn't have been happy with Bernardo Silva and Gundogan today, leaving them behind multiple times. I think his final pass, his spatial awareness, his adaptability was fantastic. Let's talk about Maddison. I saw this tweet and I think he explained Maddison really well. Maddison, incredible today. So composed on the ball, knitting thighs together and completely shifting momentum by breaking lines. He was so brave, never hid and demanded the ball in really difficult areas. Personality is the most important things in these big games and he had it. He had it. The personality, the mentality, didn't care that he was dropped. And I think with Maddison, he wasn't dropped for ability-wise or quality-wise. There's a quality player, Maddison. I think he was dropped because Ange was trying to figure out the balance. I think that's what it was. And he just didn't hide. He wanted the ball and he believed in himself and he had that confidence. He wanted to prove a point. And I think he's one of those players that, was a bit unlucky to be snubbed by England, but I think he's had a good season, Maddison. I think people are overhating on him. I think he had 1 or 2 iffy games, got dropped because Sarr was good. And I think he was more dropped because Ange felt that the balance would be better for that certain game with Maddison on the bench. It wasn't about quality. And then there was this narrative that Maddison hadn't been great, sort of put out. And I actually think that Maddison's had a good season. If you look at the season in general, I thought the first few games of the season he was good. I think him and Kulu, because they're now joint 8s, so he gets the left-hand side and he gets a bit more freedom and Kulu gets the right-hand side. And the defence has to split the marking of Kulu and Maddison, whereas the back end of last season, I think they always focused on just marking Maddison and taking his creativity out of the game. He was double-marked a lot. I think that Maddison's looked a lot better and I felt that he had the personality. If you look at his game numbers here, 2 out of 2 dribbles, 9 out of 13 duels won, 5 fouls suffered. Absolutely fantastic stuff. The 2 goals, the finishing as well. Was it the second goal? Absolutely fantastic. 9.2 sofa score. They were fouling him. They couldn't catch him. I think he was breaking the lines incredibly well. Here were some notes again. Maddison does his best work when he gets freedom in advanced areas. I thought his intelligence, his technique and his bravery was fantastic. He dropped deep to progress the play. He then linked up with the ball. He tore City's defence apart. He was making those line-breaking passes. And I think, in defensive third, He's good at getting the ball, dropping deep, breaking the press, bringing a bit of quality there because there's no Romero, who's probably Tottenham's best player playing out from the back. In the middle third, he can dictate the play, he can find space, he wants to get involved, have a touch. He's working really hard as well. He's not quite like Solanke and Kula when it comes to pressing, but I thought he did a really good job in terms of his work rate. And then the final third, he's linking up. A superb finish, absolutely making those runs, those movements, those everything. I thought he was fantastic. Technical ability, contribution. I thought it was a fantastic performance from James Maddison as well. Bringing it into Sarr, I gave Bissouma a shout out, but I'm going to focus on Sarr. I thought, again, he was fantastic this season. He's in the 91st percent of the progressive runs, 86% of the key passes, 85th percent of forward passes, and 81st percent of for forward passes. Forward pass percentage, sorry. Now, I think with Sarr, he's someone that puts in a shift off the ball, looks to win back the ball, but then when he gets the ball, he always wants to run forward. He likes to run into space. I think he's a very good player athletically, and I thought he was fantastic today. I think he was just as vital as Kulusevski and Maddison because him and Bissouma nullified City's midfield. They were winning the second balls. They were resisting the press with composure. I thought he kept the ball well. In the first half, he won 4 duels, 100% success, which was the most on the pitch, but it was the energy he brought. Tottenham won because of the energy and the legs in midfield today. That's how they won, and then on the transition, they were clinical, they were lethal. That's how they won, and he was Sarr winning the duels, covering ground, and when he gets the ball, progressing it, recovering possession, covering the ground, putting in the shift, progressing play is what made Tottenham as good as they were today. And City's midfield could not handle it. And in these big matches, Sarr is always standing out because of his work rate, ability to win the ball and progress it. I saw this on Bissouma from Murph. I'd like to single out Bissouma today, booked after 15 seconds, but yet was able to manage the game beautifully. Had to look after Foden, Silva, and later De Bruyne was superb as well. I thought he was fantastic. I thought 15 seconds in, what are you doing? And then after that, I thought, wow, what a performance from Bissouma. That's what I thought. I thought absolutely fantastic. All over the place, him and Sarr, absolutely fantastic. Solanke, unsung hero, work rate is phenomenal. Pressing was fantastic. I think, a few iffy touches, didn't get the goal, but when you look at the work rate, the pressing, what he did in the run-up to, was it Porro's goal? And then he did a really good run with the ball. He laid it to Kulusevski. Kulusevski almost scored. Maybe he should have laid it off to the left rather than shot. That was about 5 minutes later. I thought the running, the work rate, the pressing was phenomenal. Got the assist. I think he continues to just improve the team. I think he makes the team better when he's there. Even if he doesn't score assists, he makes the teams better. Generally think the way he impacts games is a lot more than he gets credit for. 4 goals and assists in the last 4 games as well. He does get decent numbers, nothing crazy, but he does get decent numbers. And I think he improves the team. He runs, he presses, he wins the ball, he closed down space. The movement was exceptional. I thought he was fantastic today. And then I wanted to give Dragusin a little bit of a shout out as well. I think he did well. Talent Scout said it how it is. Did well defensively, clean sheet. Solid performance, absolutely solid performance. Probably go under the radar because of how good Maddison and Kulusevski was, but shout out to Dragusin. So guys, thank you for watching today's roundup of Tottenham 4, City 0. This was a long match reaction, but I thought it was a fantastic game to watch because one, City were getting battered, but it was exciting to watch Tottenham, the football they play on the eye. It was absolutely fantastic. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.